I cannot believe this. Giannis Antetokounmpo essentially just alluded to potentially wanting to go to the New York Knicks while suggesting the Knicks should trade for Nikola Jokic, and this all coming on the heels of the biggest trade in NBA history involving Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks have already given up all their assets as part of the Mikal Bridges trade, right before the trade market reset. One of the final two big trades before the massive reset in the trade market and all the value, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. If you're part of that 67% who's not subscribed yet and you want daily New York Knicks news, rumors, injury updates, potential trade news like this video, a bunch of other fun stuff including TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and a bunch of fun live streams. We'll be going live probably tomorrow as well as every Friday we go live, and you guys do not want to miss out. But let's jump into the video because we do have a lot to talk about. Giannis Antetokounmpo, someone who's been linked to the Knicks time and time again throughout his NBA career, just talked a lot about NBA trades. And a lot of Knicks fans are now fired up, believing that Giannis essentially alluded to the fact that the New York Knicks could be a team that he'd be interested, or would be a team that he'd be interested in playing for, but also specifically name-dropped none other than who I think is the best player in the NBA, in Nikola Jokic, saying that the Knicks should get Jokic in the process, which is very funny. Now, taking a look at Giannis's actual quote, he said, now that a European will be the face of the Lakers, well, first of all, LeBron is still there. This is something new for Europe. I love it. Know what I want? I want Luka to the Lakers. I want Jokic to the Knicks. I want all the Europeans to go to the big market to see something incredible. This is my dream. I'm sorry, what? You want all the Europeans to go to a big market? Well, Luka's in LA. Jokic and Giannis are not in big markets. Giannis has been linked to the Knicks before. It's a little interesting that Giannis is bringing this up as the Milwaukee Bucks kind of look as if their championship window is closed or basically hanging on by a literal thread. Now, taking a look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they do have a lot of issues, but they are still the fourth seed in the NBA right now, or in the NBA Eastern Conference right now. But they're not really a team that many are believing in to go to the NBA Finals, despite the fact that they do have Giannis. It kind of lives and dies with Giannis. Yes, Damian Lillard is still there. Yes, Damian Lillard is a great player, but he has been injury prone. His defense is atrocious. There's a lot of people who have stopped believing in Damian Lillard as much, and the rest of the Milwaukee Bucks. And look, Dame's not different from them, but the rest of the Milwaukee Bucks outside of Giannis are getting older and past their prime. I don't think Damian Lillard's in his prime anymore. I think he's still a very, very good player and capable of being the second best player on a championship team that has Giannis, but I do not think it's this Bucks team because they're so old. But Giannis just essentially alluding to the fact that he wants to be traded. Now, Giannis this season is absolutely incredible, putting up 32 points per game, 12 rebounds and 6 assists with 1.3 blocks and 0.8 steals per game. The man's phenomenal, shooting 60% from the field. He's also shooting 18% from three, which isn't great. And that's fine. I mean, he's Giannis. He'd fit so well in the Knicks. We all know this. Because why? Because the Knicks have a 5-out team. So Giannis would be phenomenal for the New York Knicks. And many Knicks fans have been calling for Giannis to go to the team. Now asking for that Brunson-Giannis 1-2 punch. Asking just for Giannis in general, saying, I smell it, Nick. Other people saying, announce Giannis to the New York Knicks. So Knicks fans are absolutely fired up at all this. And, well, as interesting as it is, it's hard to imagine that Giannis gets traded to the Knicks. The Knicks do not have a lot of assets to trade. Yes, they have that OG Anunoby contract, which becomes expendable if you want Giannis. But the Knicks don't really have a lot else to give for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And also the fact is, Giannis pegged Jokic for the New York Knicks. He didn't say that he wants to go to the Knicks. And I think this is Giannis alluding to the fact that he would like to get traded. Giannis has never really hidden what he wants. He wants to win. He wants to be in a winning environment. He's also very close with Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, both of whom are still on the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors want Giannis. Everyone knows that. It's not a secret. Look, as mentioned, the Warriors want Giannis Antetokounmpo, according to Brett Sigel. The other thing is, every team in the NBA wants Giannis. So, sucks to be the Warriors, I guess. No, it really doesn't. You guys won 4 championships in the last 10 years. You guys are fine. You don't need Giannis. But look, the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't see them trading Giannis. Definitely not this season. They still have that window to win a championship because Giannis is there. They're not going to, but they do have a chance because they have Giannis. Now, I think they'll get eliminated in the first or second round, and I think once that happens, Giannis will request a trade out of Milwaukee, as the Bucks have just continually underperformed outside of the 2021 championship run that they had, which was essentially carried by Giannis. Yes, Drew Holiday had that defensive play that essentially won them the NBA Finals. Chris Middleton was phenomenal against the Brooklyn Nets. PJ Tucker was great against the Brooklyn Nets. Giannis was phenomenal against everyone. Brook Lopez had a bunch of great moments. But at the same time, the Milwaukee Bucks, it feels like their window is pretty much slammed shut at this point, outside of the fact that maybe Giannis can will something in the Eastern Conference. He's the best player in the East, so it's obviously possible, but it does feel unlikely. Meanwhile, the NBA trade market has been reset. As I understand that the Dallas Mavericks acquired Anthony Davis, they didn't just acquire Max Christie and a 2029 first-round pick for Luka Doncic, but things are changing now, and picks are not the most valuable thing. Meanwhile, let's be very clear here. De'Aaron Fox did get traded for 3 first-round picks, so this is a trade that was more centered around Anthony Davis than any draft capital. Believe me, the Mavericks made a bad trade. They obviously made a bad trade. Yes, Anthony Davis is phenomenal. I actually think the Mavericks are really good this year, regardless of their roster, because they still have Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, which is a pretty phenomenal 1-2 punch. I think the Mavericks do have a chance to win the NBA Finals because of that duo. I don't think they're going to, but I think they have a chance. Now, at the same time, the Lakers won the trade because they got Luka. We've talked about this trade enough on a channel called Knicks Digest, so we don't really have to go into it outside of the fact that the trade market has been reset from what it was back when the Knicks acquired Mikal Bridges, when they gave up Bojan Bogdanovic 4 first-round picks, a 2025 first-round pick from the Milwaukee Bucks, 2028 unprotected pick swap, and a 2025 second-round pick. It was an absolute blockbuster trade, and the market was really out of whack back then, and now it's been skewed back towards normality. Unfortunately for the New York Knicks, this happened not at an ideal time. Now, the Knicks also helped reset the market, let's be very clear. When the New York Knicks acquired Karl-Anthony Towns, they only traded 1 first-round pick. They traded Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, 2 good players, and a first-round pick, very similarly to what the Lakers did for Luka Doncic. Now, obviously, it's an inflated situation because, well, Anthony Davis is far better than Julius Randle, and Luka Doncic is better than Karl-Anthony Towns. So that's important to mention in the process of all this. But at the same time, Nikola Jokic, who spoke out on Luka, said, I don't think he expected it. Of course, he just needs to be with family right now. It's a business, but I think he's going to do a good job. He's a player for the big scene, although I thought he had something special going on in Dallas. At the same time, he says probably the biggest trade, I'm not going to say in history, but probably the last 10 to 15 years. Seems like nobody is safe, and it should probably be that way. So maybe if nobody's safe, Jokic could get traded off the team. I'm just kidding with you. Jokic is averaging a triple-double this season. That's with 29.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, getting 2 steals per game as well, shooting 57% from the field and 46% from 3. He's also shooting 71% on corner threes. I mean, there's just no explanation for these numbers. He's the best player in the NBA. He's going to finish his career as a top 15 player in NBA history. If they give the MVP to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this season, it's just absolute malpractice. Jokic should be on his way to his 4th MVP in 5 years. Mind you, that he should have gotten that one from Joel Embiid as well, but they gave Joel Embiid a Lifetime Achievement Award because Embiid could have won one of the prior 2 MVPs away from Jokic had Embiid stayed healthy. So it does make some sense in the grand scheme of things to kind of maybe even the playing field, given life's not fair, so I don't think people should get Lifetime Achievement Awards. It's the same thing like when Kobe Bryant won that MVP in, what was that, 2008, that he won the MVP? You know, when he wasn't the best player in the NBA, when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul all had better seasons than Kobe, but Kobe had never won an MVP, so they decided to give the man a Lifetime Achievement Award. Look, Kobe's the most overrated player in NBA history when it comes to superstars, but that's a completely different conversation for probably a different channel and a completely different day. Long story short, the man never passed a single playoff round without Shaq or Pau Gasol, which is important to note. I understand his teammates sucked, but other guys were able to do it, so there's no excuses. Just wanted to throw that in there real quick. If they give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this award, it's malpractice. I understand how good Shai is. I'm not trying to act like Shai's not that good. All I'm saying is that Jokic is putting up a triple-double. That includes 30 points per game. That's the MVP. It's that simple. The Nuggets would be the 14th seed without Jokic. Jamal Murray's not that good. Aaron Gordon's probably their second best player. It's Jokic. It's Jokic. The Knicks are never going to acquire Nikola Jokic. There's no way that's going to happen, especially because if they ever wanted to acquire a star, they did give all their picks for Mikal Bridges, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Look, Mikal's putting up 18 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. He's putting up 49% from the field, shooting 36% from 3, and 44% on corner threes. Mikal Bridges was the perfect acquisition for the New York Knicks because the Knicks did need someone like Mikal Bridges, so what they do, they traded for exactly Mikal Bridges. The Knicks have that wing stop defense between OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. Mitchell Robinson is coming back to the team, which is going to be a huge help for them. And on top of all that, they have Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks are just fine. They didn't need to acquire Luka. Obviously, it would have been nice if they had a chance to, but they didn't have the assets to do so. So maybe if Luka was available earlier on, they would have pivoted away from Towns or Mikal and tried to get Luka. I always thought that the Knicks were long-term plans involved Luka Doncic or Devin Booker when Leon Rose took over, and that's not the case. It involved Karl Anthony Towns, and then Mikal was less of a long-term thing, but it did make sense at the time. It still does make sense now. I think the Knicks are still absolutely contenders. They are going to be in the conference finals if all goes right for them. Unfortunately, all might not go right, and the Boston Celtics might be a 2 seed, and that's going to be pretty difficult for the New York Knicks in what's the first year of them contending, and very widely viewed throughout their organization as an evaluation year. That all being said, the Knicks absolutely can win the NBA Finals this season, and I expect them to give any team they play a severe run for their money, or just run right through them, depending on what round of the playoffs it is. But guys, I do want to know what you think down below. I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of hate on this video. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.